How's it going out there, everybody? This is Stone Petoskey. I want to welcome you to another episode of Getting Stoned. We'll send out good vibrations and lots of love and the energy of peace, harmony, love, lots and lots of that stuff, lots and lots and lots of love. This world is hurting, y'all, and we need to try to sprinkle a little love dust, wherever we go. Take some with you in your pocket there and just kind of like sprinkle it around. Anytime you feel the urge, just reach into your pocket there and grab some of that love dust and just, just hand it out without reservation to all destinations to help elevate the elation and the celebration and the alleviation of the separation that has taken over the earth nations. It's a sickness. We must resist this. I ain't lying when I say we are all one another's brothers and sisters, and that includes the plants and the animals and the vegetables, the minerals, all of it. We gotta know in our hearts and in our souls that we are, as Thich Nhat Hanh would say, in a state of interbeing. So I ask you, are you seeing? Yes, I ask you, are you seeing that we are interbeing? Because until the day comes where we can all look into the eyes of another and see there reflected our own brother, our own mother, the pain will continue to stain our brain, and we will only become more insane. Much love, y'all. Much love. I really appreciate you stopping on by here. You know how much it means to me. I say it every time, and I'll say it. I just keep saying it. Just one person's listening to this and find some joy, some value, some meaning, some upliftedness, some airy vibrations, then that's it. That's what it's all about. That warms my heart. That warms my soul. It warms my fingers and my toes. Yes. So thank you so much. I want you to know that I'm giving y'all a big hug right now. I know it. You feeling it? Come on. You know how we roll around here. You got to be feeling it. Yes. Yeah. Know you're beautiful. Know you're magical. Know you're mysterious. Know you are loved. Know you are love. You matter. Your being here is a beautiful gift to all creation. Don't doubt it for 1 second. It's a fact, Jack. All right, so we're going to continue in here with this the Darren Allen book, 33 Myths of the System. Today I'm going to read the next myth. It is the myth of money. All right, let's jump on into it. Come on now. Check it out. The myth of money. Money converts the quality of life, which is ultimately elusive,
into quantity, which can be grasped, measured, stored, and crucially, stolen. Money did not replace barter, but the gift economy. The popularity of money was not due to its efficiency, but its capacity to conceal theft. The most important of the theft justifying myths that surround money is that debt is real. The dream world of financialization is based on this myth. Money automatically converts heterogeneous qualities, the unique and non-duplicable individuality of people and things which are embedded in a context, into homogeneous quantities, monetary sums or scores, which are impersonal, abstract, and divorced from the context. Money, Shakespeare's, quote, common whore of mankind, unquote, is the opposite of unique. It turns everything it touches into a sum, and everyone who touches it into sum maximizers, with one aim only, to get the best deal. For those with no character, no uniqueness, that is, this is no biggie. Money cures all problems that want of character presents. The more money, the less virtue, for money comes between a man and his objects, and obtains them for him, and it was certainly no great virtue to obtain it. It puts to rest many questions which he would otherwise be taxed to answer, while the only new question which it puts is the hard but superfluous one, how to spend it. Thus his moral ground is taken from under his feet. So said Mr. Thoreau on the duty of civil disobedience. So, back to the story. Money cures all problems that want of character presents, except lack of love and the inevitability of death. But it provides the stimulating means to push those bad dreams from view also. There is one other thing in the universe that man can never get enough of, aside from sex, of course, and that is thought, the bloodless mother of money. Both are abstract, infinite, and representative of everything, and so can never satiate the desire they generate. For money, like thought, there is no end, no death, no love, no kin, no character, no quality, no context, and so no rest. There can never be an end to it, because there can never be a beginning. The meaning and origin of money do not exist, or at the very least do not have to. It is inherently, perfectly clean. It comes pre-laundered and is therefore an essential component of deception, inadequacy, lovelessness, an essentially hollow, meaningless life, and theft. Theft on a massive scale. If money, by hiding and justifying the iniquity of its creation, was vital for early experiments in enslaving barbarians, subjugating domestic populations, and tearing up the wilderness, it was positively indispensable for early capitalists who, in order to get the project of a totalitizing, completely self-regulating market system off the ground, had to commodify labor and land, and then to tear them from their contexts so that they might be bought, controlled, and sold. That human beings and all of nature were not produced in order to be peddled in the marketplace was as outlandish a notion for early capitalists as it is for their contemporary progeny. who are busily converting water, conversation, childcare, dating, genomes, creativity, and consciousness itself into money-measured commodities. Some troublesome types seriously pursue matters that do not lead to financial material advantage. These lunatics are best left to their own devices. Worse, though, some go so far as to question the need for a monetary system at all, suggesting that perhaps reality is not best served by reducing everything in it to bookkeeping entries. This has forced economists to generate a secondary myth, the myth of inefficient barter. According to Aristotle, Adam Smith, countless textbooks, academic papers, and newspaper articles, money and the market system which uses it arose because of the inefficiencies of exchanging goods for goods. Apparently, we used to live in a world in which a man with 5 chickens to sell had no way to get hold of a pair of shoes because the cobbler had chickens of his own. He had to go around barefoot until money was invented and he could sell to the chickenless blacksmith and buy a pair of shoes with the money. This is a convenient story if, like the inventors of coinage, the civilized, quote, ancient Greeks, you wish to rip up the world in order to sell the shreds, and crucially hide or launder your crimes behind untraceable, contextless cash symbols. But there is no truth to it. We use money, the inefficient barter myth, that is. We use money because it generates and sustains mass theft, unlimited desire, which leads to unlimited violence, and ego. Not because, as the capitalist fairy tale has it, barter was inefficient. Prehistoric society and many pre-modern societies did not use barter to allocate resources, but informal, non-usurious credit, centralized redistribution, and the so-called gift economy, just as friends and family do today. Both money and barter were used only for ritual and for trade with enemies, which is still what they are used for. The difference is that now everyone must be considered an enemy, the official term is competitor, or as a tool, official term employee, in the insane activity known as business. All this has been well known for well over half a century and is slowly entering common knowledge, but it is, unsurprisingly, never mentioned by capitalist journalists and academics. Economists once made constant reference to the origins of capitalism in primal societies. The moment, however, that it became impossible to sustain this myth was precisely the moment when economists abandoned the study of primitive man is irrelevant to understanding the modern world. No capitalist academic who presumes to make judgments of human nature ever refers to pre-civilized, pre-agricultural, or pre-conquest peoples anymore, preferring to base their social theories on the implicit idea that only the last couple of thousands of years of history, minus the unfortunate intergenome of feudalism, really represent human nature. But although the idea that the invention of money removed one of the key obstacles in our attempts to realize our true nature as rational, wealth-maximizing automatons is never explicitly evoked, it remains one of the foundational money myths, collective term economics, upon which the modern system is based. These myths include the belief that we need money to organize society, the belief that most money is created by mints or central banks, when in fact it is written into existence by private banks, the actual inflationary magic money tree, the belief that money exists as a consequence of economic activity, the belief that funds or resources are limited, the belief that the post-capitalist economy is based on anything real, anything other than finance, that is, the belief that money is a commodity or that it represents, quote, the power of capital, unquote, the belief that speculation will somehow, this time, not lead to catastrophic inequality, widespread misery, and another horrific crash. And the belief that, left on its own, the mythic value of money magically grows by itself. The last hex is one of the founding myths not just of capitalism, but of civilization itself. We have come to believe that if we store money, not only will it, unlike substances in the real world, not decay, but it will actually increase in size. Yes, we have created life. Capitalists call the magical generative powers of stored money interest. Non-capitalists, who understand that this miracle money is coming from someone else, call it usury, a form of legalized theft, like rent and taxation, which is written into the fabric of Western civilization. Usury means lending to make a profit on compound interest. The original debt accrues interest, and then not just the debt, but the debt plus the interest accrues more interest. The debt doesn't just grow, it grows exponentially. Basing, as we have, our society, indeed our entire civilization, on usurious debt doesn't just mean that we never have enough to repay, but what we do have to repay multiplies, like the fabled rice grain on the chessboard, until it fills up the universe. In order to maintain and justify the abyss of degradation that this inevitably leads to, mass poverty, exploitation, despoilation, anything to scrape together enough to make the next payment to the swelling monstrosity that the lender was fast becoming, this leads to a moral duty to repay debts that had to be impressed on borrowers. And understanding not just that they owed tribute to this or that lender, but that the universe itself is a debtor-creditor arrangement. Human beings are born owing, aka sinful, and can never settle their accounts. When they inevitably betray the benevolent gods by proxy who pay, feed, house, and clothe them, they are then defined as ungrateful, criminal, possessed by the devil, or insane. This understanding is also sometimes known as, quote, religion. The powerful lend money to the powerless, who must then pay back more than they borrowed until they are either enslaved or dead. This self-reinforcing feedback loop of borrowing at interest from the future inflates the power of the elites, and with it, the bubble of society they control until it pops, bringing everyone down with it. The most extensive and catastrophic version of this process began in the 1970s with the end of the idea that capital should be controlled, the beginning of unlimited, unregulated money flow and speculation, and the creation, manipulation, and trading of increasingly sophisticated forms of debt. A process of effectively printing money instead of extracting it as tax from the hyper-wealthy, known as financialization, which created unimaginably vast profits for the financial sector by evaporating the world economy, along with all the institutions which manage it, and uploading them, and thus into an inflationary virtual hyper economy. This is a dream asteroid we find ourselves clinging to, hurtling towards the waking world, makes the bubbles before it look like microbial farts, and the crashes before it look like derailed slot cars. And that, my friends, is the myth of money. Yeah, I'm telling you, as I said, this book is trippy. It's just tripping me out. It's the brilliance in it is unquestionable. The book, I mean. As we go along here, you'll learn more and more and more. I've been blown away by it. That's why I'm deciding to share it here. But yeah, I'm gonna just let it speak for itself. The myth of money. Oh my goodness. All right, you know what this calls for? This calls for a little reading of an absolute legend, in my view, Mr. Hunter S. Thompson. I'm just going to throw this right out here to you without even, taking much of a pause. This is a piece of work of his called "Collect Telegram from a Mad Dog." It's a poem from Mr. Hunter S. Thompson. Yes, I could talk. I could pretend like I could talk like him, but I don't do a very good job of impressions, so I'll go back to my normal voice. Collect telegram from a mad dog. Not being a poet, and drunk as well, leaning into the diner at dawn and hearing a jukebox mockery of some better human sound, I wanted rhetoric, but could only howl the rotten truth. Norman Luboff should have his nuts ripped off with a plastic fork, then howled around like a man with the final angst, not knowing what I wanted there. Probably the waitress bend her double like a safety pin, deposit the mad seed before they tie off my tubes, or run me down with dingo dogs for not voting at all. Suddenly a man with wild eyes rushed out from the wooden toilet, specifically Luboff and the big mongers, the slum feeders, the perverts and the pious. The legal man agreed we had a case, and indeed a duty to right these wrongs, as it were. The prince would be 4,000 in front and 10 for the nut. I wrote him a check on the Sawtooth National Bank, but he hooted at it while rubbing a special oil on his palms to keep the chancers from itching beyond endurance on this Sabbath. McCoon broke his face with a running Cambodian chop. Then we drank his gin, ate his blitzers, but failed to find anyone to rape, and went back to the Mariner's Tavern to drink in the sun. Later, from jail, I sent a brace of telegrams to the right people explaining my position. I'm just going to give you a little backstory on that poem here. In 1965, Hunter S. Thompson wrote numerous poems while covering the Hells Angels motorcycle gang for the nation. Thompson usually wrote these poems on a whim, a creative way to kill time at his Haight-Ashbury apartment or a local Bay Area tavern. The revolutionary surrealism of 1960 San Francisco provided perfect fodder for penning outlaw poems about Ken Casey's Merry Pranksters and LSD, the Jefferson Airplane, and Berkeley's free speech movement. 3 of Thompson's poems were published: one in The Nation and the others in Spider, the journal for the Berkeley free speech movement. Collect Telegram from a Mad Dog appeared in the October 13th, 1965 edition of Spider, and Thompson would later include it in The Great Shark Hunt, a 1978 anthology of his best gonzo journalism. The poem was written in a Point Richmond diner after a night of heavy drinking. It's a true story, Thompson notes. I was sitting at the counter with a waitress having some coffee when suddenly a stranger came out of the bathroom with shaving cream on his face, ranting like a madman. Bored, Thompson struck up a conversation with the strung-out delinquent and eventually brought him to Sunday brunch at the house of Richmond Mayor David Pierce, where they gorged on blintzes with raspberries and Napa Valley champagne. They spent the remainder of that Sunday together at the Mariner's Tavern. Ha. See, I love shit like that. It's like Hunter S., he is, are you kidding me? I mean, few people will ever be as badass as Hunter S. Thompson. I mean, let's just get real, So he's breaking down this poem like stream of consciousness stuff. The dude was a genius. He just was next level. Let's do one more poem. Y'all know how much I love poetry. It's just like the elixir for all that ails us. This is so many of these poets I'm not familiar with, which I absolutely love. How about, let's do this one. This is a poet, S.A. Griffin. Oh my gosh. All right, let's do a couple here from S.A. Griffin. I'm full disclosure here, I don't know this poet. I don't know if it's a guy or a gal, and at the end of the day, I don't suppose it really much matters. And this title of this one just caught my eye. As I remember as a kid, I used to eat Fig Newtons. So here's I ate Fig Newtons until I puked by S.A. Griffin. Back when I was a kid sitting in the pantry, I downed 3 or 4 pounds of the gooey things. Never ate them again, in fact. I can't stand the thought of them. Did the same thing with meatloaf and pizza. When we were together, she and I, we just can't seem to get enough. I get down there into her little cookie jar and blow the dust off. Eating her has been the feel of a good book. A classic with the musty smell of gold leaf. I work the corners and study it well. Commit the best of it to memory. Then we fuck, make love, long and hard. We do the old in and out, sweat like summer in the south. Then she sucks me until I am crazy, and I mount her like a dog, ignorant to anything but her box. As the cars roll by, the time ticks away, the neighbors argue, and children poke and play. The grass grows a little longer, and we just can't do it enough. She wants me to come like a whale on a roller coaster ride, so I roll her over and give her my ticket for the big ride. And I watch, only imagining how good it is. She quakes like a volcano that has been inactive for years. She seems to have a fault line running through the continent of her body. The landscape of her cities collapse and burn. We lie in the ruins. My dick is getting raw, but her tough little pussy is ready for more. So am I. I got over on the meatloaf and pizza, took years, but I still cannot stomach the thought of fig Newtons. She tells me I am with her on the clock. We are caught somewhere in the difference between us. I tell her the same. We call our obsession passion. We binge and purge, and it hurts so fucking good that I don't think I can stand to go through it again. Until the next time, when I can work her with my fingers, she does her levitation thing, and we are trick together. She told me that she found my fingers on her shoulders, soft bruises, like the dark spots on a banana. We call them love. Well, we obviously know now that S.A. Griffin was a dude. See, the poem was just, it was off the chain, just some, the best of the poetry, just like that right there, I don't want to even go expound on it anymore because it would just be a waste of breath. All right, let's do one more from S.A. Griffin here. This one is called There Is a River. There is a cheerful ignorance, a chance meeting, and luck like gold that cannot be mined or stolen. A common atom, a dance, and stars that trick the water with their certain magic. Do not wash your wars in it. Take your body rituals to the precious fountains built by your agencies of fear. Press your wine from the fallout and drink your bitter victory. For yes, there is a river, a giving river that will sing you safely. A river of light, final, fast, and free. Where you can disrobe and leave your casual sadness walking sideways at the shore. Meet me there, whoever you are, and we will agree to swim it together. Wow. Okay, so now see that, to me that's like the perfect juxtaposition of those two poems that came from the same person. I mean, how distinctly different they were in spirit, mood, the vibe of it, the message, whatever the message you take. I mean, that first one was raw and real and rabid and rough and raunchy and righteously. And the second, it just sort of like brought you in, held you close, and let you know that you're not alone. And there is a river where everything is going to be all right. And we're going to step into it together. Unreal. Poetry is so untouchable, in my opinion. Painting is pretty damn close as far as just bringing the human into the real shit. Yeah. All right. Whew. Let's do a tune. What do you say we do a tune? And then we're going to head on out into this glorious day.
Highway Patrolman by Mr. Bruce Springsteen. My name is Joe Rouse. I work for the state. I'm a sergeant out of Parisville. Beck's number 8. Always done an honest job, as honest as I could. Got a brother named Frankie. Frankie ain't no good. Ever since we was young kids, it's been the same. Calm down, get a call on the shoreway. Frank's in trouble downtown. If it was any other man, I'll put him clean away. When it's your brother, sometimes you look the other way. Me and Frank get laughing and drinking. Nothing feels better than blood on blood. Taking turns dancing with Maria as the band played night with the Johnstown flood. I catch him when he's straying, like any brother would. I turned his back on his family. He just ain't no good. Frankie went in the army back in '65. I took a farm to Fernham, settled down to Maria for my bride. Wheat prices kept on dropping, like we were getting robbed. Frankie came home in '68. Me, I took this job. Yeah, me Frankie laughing and drinking. Nothing feels better than blood on blood. Taking turns dancing with Maria as the band played night of the Johnstown flood. I guess I'm when it's straying, like any brother would. Man turned his back on his family. He just ain't no good. And I was like any other, get a call about 8:45. There's trouble at a roadhouse on the Michigan line. There's a kid lying on the floor, he's bleeding from his head. There's a girl crying at a table, and it was Frank, they said. I went out and jumped in my car, and I hit the lights, but I must have done 110 through Michigan County that night.
You was out at the crossroads down round Willow Bank. I saw Buick with Ohio plates. Behind the wheel was Frank. I chased him through them county roads till the sign said Canadian border 5 miles. I pulled over the side of the highway and watched his taillights disappear. Me and Frankie laughing and drinking. Nothing feels better than blood on blood. Taking turns dancing with Maria as the band played night of the Jonestown flood. I catch him when he's straying like any brother would, and turns his back on his family. He just ain't no good. Highway Patrolman, written by the incomparable Mr. Bruce Springsteen. Yeah. Nobody writes songs like that, fella. And he puts on a hell of a concert too, I might add. One of the best you ever see. I know he's an old timer now, but yeah. One of a kind, that fella. One of a kind, that man. Thank you, Mr. Springsteen, for all the songs you've written, all the everything that you've shared with all of us. The music has been incomparable and such a gift. And since we're thanking people, I want to thank all y'all for listening, for taking your precious time to be here with Stone here today. It means the world to me. I love all y'all. And until next time, peace.